Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm here again today, and I did the block out curtain this time, so it won't be so dark. But I still seem to have a lot of light. But I'm trying to block out some of the light so that you guys can see my face. So, guys, I'm waiting for some people to come in. But what I was going to be talking about today was I was going to be talking about raising our children and getting ready to ready for get ready to get them acclimated for getting ready to move into their own place, their own home, or move away and things of that nature. So, guys, I'm here whenever you guys start coming in. That'll be great, and or just we'll see what's going on. So, I am here, which I'm here every Friday at 1 o'clock. This is when I come on and I get ready to start talking about the different topics that I bring up. Some of them are about life themselves, or some of my topics are about some things I went through in life. But today I chose this particular topic to talk about concerning raising of our children, which I'm the mother of 4 children, and trying to get them acclimated for getting ready to go into the real world by themselves. And that's what a little bit of what I'm going to be talking about today. And I wanted people to kind of chime in, answer some of the questions that I may have about some things I may be able to improve to help me as I get ready to transition. One of my youngest son is getting ready to transition and leave and get out into the world. So, guys, that's what I'm here today talking about, and talking about how raising our children. What do we think about for as should I know every child doesn't want to go to college, because with my boys, I talked to them, and they really was like, we don't want to go to college, we just rather work. And I discussed some things with them because I feel like college isn't for everyone. I wanted them to take up like a trade or something like that, but at the particular time they weren't ready to do that. So, guys, that's what I'm sitting here doing today, waiting on some people to come on so we could talk and discuss how we're raising our children, some of the things that we're doing. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm none of those things. I'm just coming in to talk about us raising our children, what we can, and my children are adults now, but some of the things I did as I raised them by myself pretty much. And then, later I ended up with a spouse who was able to help me finish raising the boys. But, guys, I just want to, talk about that today. Talk about some of the struggles and how, it may have been for me raising them, and getting them to the next level where they needed to be. And maybe if we were able to get like any type of help, put the light on, any type of help or anything like that for our children. Because with me, I didn't have very much help with raising mines financially. So that's what I was going to come on and talk about today. And I'm just waiting on some more people to come on. But, guys, I hope you guys are having a happy Friday. I'm having a happy Friday. I've got a lot going on, some things I need to take care of, and some things that I need to be doing, and getting my son ready to. He's getting ready to take a trip, so I'm getting ready to do that. And yes, it's bittersweet. But as we come on and begin to raise our children, we know that we raise them and we teach them the best that we know, and we try to instill in them things that will be helpful for them as they get older. For example, raising them and trying raising me, and that's the first thing I want to talk about. My first kids were, I had girls, and then toward the end of when I turned like 39, 38, I got pregnant with my oldest son, and then at 39, I had my last son. So the differences in the styles that you raise your kids is really, really a trip, because you raise them the different times and the way that I did, because I was older when I raised the boys. And when I had the girls, I was younger. And then in between that span, it's like 10 years before I had the next child. And it's a 10-year span between my daughter Karen and my son Tyrell. So that was quite a bit of space in between them. But I just wanted to come on today and talk about the differences and like when we grew up and how things were for us, because talking about how different parents instill different things, because in my household we weren't pushed to go to college either. Although my oldest brother, not one of my oldest brother, um, James, he went to college, and he went to college on a scholarship. And I was in school for nursing, but I ended up getting pregnant, so I dropped out of school. We weren't like pushed to go to school or go to college. No one, told us the importance of going or trying to get your education. So that's what I talk about. No putting down on my parents, because it's just back then. I think a lot of the parents were teaching their children that it's best to get a job and work. And that's the way they pretty much raised us. We started working at a very young age. I think I was like 14 years old, 13 or 14 when I started my first job. And that was in Riviera Beach. I mean, West Palm Beach. Riviera, no, it was in Magnolia Park. So that's where I had my first job. And I worked there a long time through high school and everything. And that's what I was wanting, just talk about things like that and what we would want to instill in our children. Some of the things do we want to instill in them to work hard and have a better life, or just, some children go to college, and no disrespect to anyone, because I think it depends on the child, if that's the child or the person, if they want to go to school or go to college or take up a trade. Because what I wanted my boys to do is take up a trade. But with everything so fast paced in the pandemic and all this other stuff going on, they ended up not going to college. They just really got jobs and went to work and stayed on their jobs, and they lived at home with me, you know, and were able to save their money and then later go ahead and purchase a car, or things like that. But I just wanted to come on and just talk about the differences in the way that things are a lot different now, that now and different now than it was in our time. And the values, and are we putting the values back in our children, that we the values that we had in life, and are we putting values and teaching our kids a standard. And I think what is happening now is that we are not, we don't hold them accountable for a lot of things. And then they have a lot of the social media and things of that nature, where they're trying to live up to a persona of what they think they are by using the social media, because social media to me has got them all kind of mixed up with what they're doing. They think that they have to really put everything on social media and talk about, I mean, and try to live their life based on social media. So that's the difference in what we had. We didn't have that. We had an old times phone where, and we got to call everybody in the house kind of knew. And it's just the differences in trying to raise them now. And then with the cost of living and everything being so high now, it's like if you got adult children in your home, you really want them to kind of ease out. Because with me, I'm getting older, so I really want my children to start getting to where they're getting ready to leave home. So that's a big thing for me right now. And like I said, you have to make decisions that are best for you. If you're talking to that child and teaching them and trying to tell them, what's best for them, or what you think is best for them, but then they have to eventually weigh it out and know exactly what they want to do. So guys, I'm here now. I'm just waiting for, people to come in on the chat and talk. And if no one comes on, I'll go ahead and get off in a little. But I was coming on to talk about that today. And what age do you think that a teenager, if you feel like, because some parents don't feel like they want their kids to even work a job. So, you let me know what you think about, if do you think that a teenager should even start working, or should they have a job? Should they have that responsibility? And what do you think about that? How do you feel about that? So that's what I was just coming on to talk about that today. And should they, and if they decide to go to college. Hello, Michelle. How are you, girl? Glad you're here. Glad to see you. I just got on a few minutes ago, so I'm trying to talk about raising children, adult children, and raising your children, and some of the things that are we putting back in our children today, so that they can be more proficient, be better people. So that's the biggest thing for me. I have few people on, but I don't, I'm waiting for more to come on so that I can get started. But I'm just talking about that today, and just I'm feeling kind of bittersweet because my announcement was, I have one that's going to be leaving soon, and I'm getting ready for that. But I know that I have instilled great things in him to be a great man and a great person, and also that he makes sure that as a man, to make sure he's doing the right things concerning his relationship, going into a relationship, doing the right things, and know how a woman should really be treated. And that's important that we teach them that. Hello, Sophia Stephenson. Glad to see you here. The Isaac family said, thank you so much for coming in. I was just talking about today, just talking about raising our children as we raised them when they were younger. And then I was telling everyone that my son, I was telling everyone that getting them ready to leave the nest, and that's what's important right now, trying to get them acclimated. And with the way that things are so high today, how are we going to kind of push them out the nest? But we can't really push them out. We got to make plans and do things that are mindful to help them. And then how do a lot of parents feeling that they're getting older? For me, I'm getting older, and my house is not that loud or anything. It's quieted because I have all adult people in it. But getting ready to acclimate them so that they can go ahead and begin and go into their adulthood and manhood. And I'm really talking about my two sons and some mistakes I might have made in raising them and things of that nature. I'm not ashamed. Hello, Luscious. How are you? I'm just on today talking about our children and raising our children and getting them like acclimated so that they can get ready to leave the home if that's what they'll be able to do. But with the cost of living so high today, it's kind of hard. And then I was telling how, when they're younger, things we need to instill in them because I'm doing great. Good. I'm glad you're doing great. So for me, I have the two boys that are left here. I got one that's going to be moving out soon. And I kind of knew he was going to be leaving because he's been in a relationship for a while. And I try to stay out of it, because I want him to make the best decisions. It's hard raising teenagers. Oh my God. It was rough for me with the teenagers. And the thing about it is, with us, it's like a lot of people, for me, I have a lot of people telling me, that's a man, you can't spoil him, you can't do this, you can't do that. But it's like you don't want to take your child and just throw them out there. You want them to be able to manage and be able to survive. And with the way that the economy is set up today, a lot of young people are going to be home longer because of the simple fact that things are so high. And so I was talking about, because a lot of people may feel like with me, as I was coming up, I went to work at a young age. That's what my dad instilled in us. My dad instilled hard work, working hard so you could have the best life. And then my mom taught us how to pray and how to have a prayer life. And it's so rough for me. You have to, because with me and my son, he'll be leaving probably like next week. So it got laid on me kind of fast. We kind of knew he was leaving because he's in this relationship, but I wasn't sure when he was going to leave. And this is the baby of the family. So it's not so much as rough for me. I can let him go. I just know that he's with someone who's going to be a little stronger, and he's going to have to get used to that because he's used to being able to lean on me. So it's kind of rough for him, I think, because he keeps coming and saying, Mom, I say, you're only a phone call away. And they have FaceTime. Back in the day, you didn't have that when you left home. So that's the biggest thing for me. It is rough, trying to make sure that your children are where they need to be, because sometimes people want to say, oh, they're kind, you're babying them, or you're making them lazy, or you're not, thinking about things the right way for them. And boys are tough and difficult if you don't have a male figure there. And with my boys in the beginning, I didn't have a male figure there because their father he was in their life, but he wasn't in their life. I don't know how to explain that. Well, I'll explain it. He's in their life, but he's not physically in their life to do what he needs to do. Hello, Steve Gilmore. Thank you so much, Steve Gilmore YouTube channel. Thanks for coming, and thanks for checking in. I appreciate you coming. On today, I was just discussing about raising my kids and, some beliefs that you have. And, I talk to my spouse, and we're talking to him a lot of times. Hello to everybody. Okay, he's saying hello. Steve Gilmore, YouTube channel is saying hello to everyone in the chat. Hope you're having a beautiful day so far. So I'm having a wonderful day. I'm a little nervous because, just like I was saying, it's okay. I was just talking about raising my sons, and and my daughters. Because there's a 10-year span between my 31-year-old daughter and my son. I have a 21-year-old son, and then I have another son that's 22. So it's a difference. Hello, Sophia, Steve Stephenson. Sometimes it can be difficult raising. It is, and my kids are not teenagers, but to me, the younger people now are their mindset is a little different. They're not, to me, we were very mature for our age. To me, the young people are not as mature as they were when we were coming up. So it's a little difficult and tricky to me because of the fact that I have the boys on the end part and trying to get them acclimated to being doing what they need to do. Now, both my sons work. They've been working ever since. My oldest son has been working since he was 14 because he worked at Publix. My youngest son started at about 15, 16. So they've been working. I talked to them and asked them when they were younger, do you want to go to college or do you want to take a trade? And at that particular time, no one wanted to do that. I did not push for that, but I tried to explain to them it would be best to take up a trade or go to college, but that's not what they wanted to do. So I really didn't push them because as they go on in life, they may end up going back to college and getting a degree. So yeah, so for me, that was a big thing. I wanted them to go, but they didn't. And then my brother was like, you got to push, you got to push. But what if I push and they go to college and then they don't do good in college? So that's the thing for me with my kids. That was the biggest thing for me with them, trying to figure out what they wanted to do for us that. But they work, both of them work full time. But the youngest one, recently, his job cut his hours. So he's had, he was already planning to move to Colorado with his girlfriend. They have been planning that out for the past year. So the time has come because they ended up cutting his hours on his job. So he's going up to Colorado to live in Colorado. He's visited Colorado last year, and he visited and he really loved it. So now he's getting ready to leave to go there, and then I'll have my other son. But like I was saying I don't know what everyone else's beliefs are with their children, but for me, you just want the best outcome for them. But then you got to let them. Hello, Hagee Homestead, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you guys. So guys, you can give me some feedback on how you're feeling because cutting the ties, not just cutting the ties, but cutting the cord for me, with my son is, I don't have a problem with that. I want him to go. And I always tell them, I want you to go, but I want you to be the best person you can be. When you get with someone, I want you to be respectful and mindful. And I believe that my boys will be okay with the mindful part because they saw what I went through. So I'm hoping that helps them to know how to treat and be kind to their spouse. And I'm constantly telling them different things you should do as you're in those relationships, but not trying to rule them. And, I don't know what everyone's beliefs are, but I try to instill them to make sure they're praying, make sure that you're being the best you, and make sure that you're considering the person that you're with. That's very important in relationships. And, just like I was saying, do you think that teenagers should start working? Because some people don't want their teenagers to work. They just want them to go to school and things of that nature and wait till they get out of college to go to work or something like that, which I don't knock whatever decisions anyone wants to make. That's based on what they would like to do in their home. I'm just trying to get feedback and kind of get myself together to get ready to put him on that plane and to just let him know, be the best person that you can be, because you're stepping into the role. He's stepping into the role as a spouse and as a stepfather. So I want him to be the best that he can be and be able to rear and help rear the child in the right way. That's just my beliefs. And I tell my children, if you can't do that and you can't be with a person that has a child, then you don't need to do that. But if you look at relationships and the way the world is today, most everyone you date is going to have a kid. So you might as well get ready for it, because that's like me saying, I don't want my child to date a person that has a kid. And I got into a relationship and I had kids. So it's a lot of things we have to look at, and a lot of ways we have to look at it. But, I see some people, one time I was on the other week and they were saying they had been working toward getting their children out of the home for years and years. And I think that's what happened to me. I didn't do it as fast as I should. And I was never the one, I hear people say, oh, you just put children out. You put your children out. I would never be the one to just go ahead and throw my children out, because it's like I'm throwing them to the wolves. They don't drink, they don't smoke, they're not doing all that in my home. They're very mindful. And I must say they're respectful. But for me, I just, was wondering how everyone else felt about, if you have children in the home, them leaving the home, and how you will react to what you're going through with knowing that they're leaving home. And then the difference in them with the social media and being on social media and thinking that they have to just be on social media and that's where it's at, because social media to me hypes them up and they got to put this and I got to be this and I got to be that. And it's like being on like YouTube. People feel like they got to be all the way up here, and people feel like they can't help anyone. But I just thank God that I have people that come on and help, and help me out with my channel and help me grow. And I was just wondering, you guys can type something you want to, talk about concerning what are our ideas, and are we still instilling beliefs in our children like hard work? Because I think the day is gone where people will be on a job 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years. Like my spouse, he's been on his job 30 plus years. But I think those days are gone. And I think that our youth have a better chance of doing other things now because, like my oldest daughter, she works from home and she's able to work from home, and her hours are kind of different. So that's why I have my granddaughter, but she's getting ready to go back home with her. So when she goes back home with her, she's already, set, she has a bedtime set and everything. It's just up to her to keep her acclimated to the schedules that I have for her. And I feel like sometimes I feel bad because people feel like you shouldn't help your children. You shouldn't, that you're a danger, or you're not a danger, I want to say, but that you're not a help to them because they feel like you shouldn't help your children. And then you can be in conversation with other people and they say, oh, you just got your children spoiled. You got your children where you shouldn't have them like that, and you shouldn't help them. I help both my children get their cars they have, and I co-signed to help with that, to help build their credit up. And that's another thing, we in our neighborhood, we don't really talk about, credit, and explain the importance of credit to our children as they are young, so that as they get older, they know the importance of, and know that the credit card just isn't something that you get and you run it up. It's not about that. It's about being able to manage what you have and live on the means that you have. Like I heard Luscious say, she ended up buying property with her 401k. A lot of people probably didn't know you can go into your 401k and even purchase a home or what you have with that. I admire her because the place is being built. She's doing generational wealth. And that's what a lot of us need to do. Me coming on YouTube before I even got here, I was like, and Luscious Journey saying, yes, so true. Because a lot of us don't know we can have finances, but we don't know how to repurpose those finances in order to help. And we want to make sure that if we're leaving here, we leave something for our children. Because my parents, when my mom passed, we had a home that we grew up in that we ended up selling, but it was our home that we grew up in. They left something for us. They didn't leave a whole lot because they really didn't have a whole lot by the end, but they left something for us to, at least we sold that house and was able to. And Sophia Stephenson is saying blessings to everyone. They left that for us. My internet is giving me, mine was last week when I went on live, so I understand. It's no problem. So what I was saying was about that we need to leave generational wealth for our children, because other people have been doing this for years. They have been leaving money and things for their children to survive after they leave. So with the monies that my parents left, that they left when we sold the house, that was money. So if we wanted to do something with it, we could do. And if anyone didn't have a home, they could purchase a home that would be like a down payment because of what the house was worth. But I'm just saying this part where we need to leave and be able to do things for our children. But I think people try to make us feel bad if we doing, because if we say like, okay, I would love to have, a duplex. And this is what I talk to my boys a lot about. I said, well, you guys should get a duplex. I was trying to encourage them, to save and buy a duplex so that one can live on one side. They can live on one side and then they can rent out one side, and that's what they could do. And I'm trying to tell them ways to, and this is the reason why I came on YouTube, to try to make money to help other people, to show them how they can make money they can make money on the internet and do generational wealth, and also be able to help someone because I know in every family someone has someone who probably doesn't have a place to live, probably doesn't have a place to go. So that's why I'm saying that we need to make sure that we're leaving some type of generational wealth for our children or something for them. And I don't think everybody agrees, because some people feel like, oh, they should just be able to do it themselves. You shouldn't have to help them. I get this a lot with me. You do too much for your children. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And I just feel like it's not about, it's you should learn or teach them a way that they will know how to live, and not live beyond their means, and be able to take the monies that they're making. Because back in my day when I was working, I was making $2 and something an hour. When I started my first job, I think it was 232. I can remember it. But it's just like, we in the Brown family, we need to try to do more and teach our kids about credit, teach our kids about 401, teach our children about investing, teach them about all the things that we weren't taught. And just like I saw, you can go on the internet now. We didn't have the internet to Google how to do this, how to do that, how to do this. They can go and learn that way. That's why I have my oldest son, when he started his job and they sent back the paperwork, I made sure I went out and helped him fill out for his 401. So even though his 401 can, even if he leaves that job, his 401 can roll over. And that was the importance of starting a 401k. So he'll have that and he can take that monies and invest it later. And that is very important for me with my kids, to keep them, we got to teach them a way to work smart, not hard. And that's what we don't do in our community. I feel like we need to do that and teach them and train them and show them ways that they can work as they're young, and they can retire at a young age. Because I don't see anything wrong with being a spouse being able to be at home while their spouse is out working, so that they can make sure that the children are being reared. What's important to me in this piece is that a lot of our women are, they're working, and I don't have a problem with, you gotta work, but we have a lot of them where they're not there to be in the place that they need to be for those children. And that was the biggest thing for me. My mom, as a kid, my mom did not work. She worked a little bit, but not to the fact that she couldn't see about us. My dad had it set up. So my mom, even though they didn't have lots of money, my dad made sure my mom was able to be home to cook for us, to greet us, to take care of us, and do things that way. Yes, 401 is a very good investment. So my son, he's actually, he's been in 401 for about I put him in his 401k about 3 years, because he's on the same job when we moved here. So he has 401 for about 3 years. I told him to take a certain amount out. He can't miss what he does not see. So that's why I did it that way. So that's what he has, his 401k. So eventually, if he needs to go in, use that money, he can take money out, buy him a home, purchase a home. And that's what I'm trying to tell him. Because I think with us, our children getting cars and things like that seems more important. But just like I said, my dad made sure that my mom was able to be home. So that, okay, that's why I did in early. See, that's what I'm trying to tell them. I'm trying to tell my sons and my daughter, work hard now. Work hard, work smart now, so that you can retire at an early age. And that's the point of it. If you do it that way, you can definitely retire. Invest in real estate, invest in the stocks, but do it the right way. And that's what I'm trying to tell them about things of that. And just save your money. Don't just blow your money. Don't live from paycheck to paycheck. Try to learn to save something. If you can't do nothing, but my oldest son, I tell him, if you every week that you get paid, because he gets paid every week, go and get yourself just 2 rolls of quarters. Put those up. In a year's time, you'll be surprised at what you have. And it's other ways they can save. They can get the envelopes and put money in the envelopes. You don't have to put a whole lot in there, but you can put something every week, and you put that up and save that. Because we're not teaching our children how to save money. We're not teaching them the importance of credit. Because when I went to go get my son's car, and the guy was like, well, how's their credit? How's their credit? And I was like, both times I was like, my children's credit is very good, because I put them, and another thing a lot of people don't know, you can put your child on your cards, and that will help raise their credit score, and you don't have to give them the card. So that's what I gifted to my sons and my daughter. And if they needed some, I try to help them. And I also helped my oldest daughter when she got furniture. I helped her because she had some issues. I borrowed against my 401k all the time to buy this. See, that's what I'm trying to get Luscious, my son, to do eventually. And probably about another few years, he'll have enough where he can borrow against it and be able to do it. But see, that's not taught to a lot of people. A lot of people don't know anything about that. And then a lot of young people don't even know to get in the 401k. And that's what's important. We have to tell them 401k is important. Saving your money is important. Investing your money is important. You don't have to invest a whole lot, but you need to invest something so that you can have a better life in later in life. You can't let everything be about right now, right now. I'm a right now person. You got to be able to be a person that's thinking about your future. And if you want to have kids, you don't want to have a stressful life for them. But back to what I was saying concerning my mom never really worked too much out of the home until we got older. That's when she worked a little bit out of the home. And I think that's so very important that we are raising our children. And then now a lot of parents have to be home because, and I thank God, even though we had the pandemic, it brought a lot of women back home and they were able to realize the importance of being home with those children, because a lot of parents didn't know how to deal with their children and didn't know how, what was going on with their children because they were at work and they were sending them to school. And then once the pandemic came, boom, we had, hello, Journey Pastor K. Go, hello, how are you? She says, hi, honey bunch, and everyone. Yes, I'm just talking about today raising my children. You can chime in because I know you have kids too. And some of the things that we deal with in raising those children and some of the things that we go through, raising our children, trying to get them to the next level and trying to get them to be the best that they can be. And also trying to help out with the grandchildren and the importance of being home and being able to spend time and raising our children. Because like I was saying, some of us got kids that have different exceptionalities. When I say exceptionalities, I mean something like autism, special needs, and things of that nature. And we may need to be home with that child. So I was just talking about that. I know they have a lot of programs out there to help us when they're in school, because when like when my daughter Karen, I had her in a program. They put it, most of the special needs kids are put in programs. But remember, the programs that a lot of them are put in is a program inclusive, which means they put all the exceptionalities into one group. They don't space them out, which a lot of people don't know. They don't put them based on this, based on that. So your kid might be doing something they might mimic, because Karen used to mimic what other kids would do. So because they were all in there in one class, one group. So I thank God that I thank God that my granddaughter, she's on the spectrum, but she's being they're slowly taking her out of that part and putting her back in regular classes. So I thank God for that. And guys, anyone out there that can, pray for her and continue to keep us in your prayers for that, because that's very important to us. But all I was just talking about, the part about, for me, I was saying that I have a son that's getting ready to leave home on next week. And he had been planning this with his, I would say, spouse, a person that he's dating. So he visited Colorado last year around Christmas time, and they spent the week up there. Both my boys went, but he spent the week. So I'm just like getting ready to get him packed up and get him ready and clean the room up. And he's done that last night. But I'm just thinking, guys, how do you guys feel about your children starting work at a young age? Do you want them to start work? Did you want them to start working? Did you want them to go to college? Which I wanted mine to go to college, but that wasn't what they wanted to do. I was able to talk to mine and ask them, hey, guys, what do you want to do? And that's what I told them. I say, but eventually you might feel like you want to go back to college, because I have a nephew. He's back in college. He went back to college. Hello, April Showers. Good afternoon to everyone in the chat. She's saying, and host, thank you so much for coming. I've been talking about raising our children and getting them ready to leave the home, and just talking about the what are we engraving, or what are we putting in our children? And because I remember when we were young, when I was younger, my dad would say, you guys you gotta believe in something. You gotta trust something. You gotta have a belief, And so what are you pouring into that child as they're growing up? And, because I don't see where a lot of the younger women nowadays are doing, where they're implementing things, to keep their children going and to keep them, the mindset, a little different. Because when we were growing up, our parents would talk to us about certain things, explain certain things. They took us to church. They taught us. And from what I'm saying now, and I'm not bashing anyone, forgive me if anybody, I just feel like, we're not teaching them enough Thanks. We need more people on YouTube about the. Yes, because I figured that I think for me, you know, raising children is very hard. The hardest years for me was for my daughter when she was a teenager, and not Karen, I mean my oldest daughter, and then getting my boys acclimated to leaving home. And you don't want to be, I think our community, I'm being honest, and I've talked to people in our community, and especially the men in our community, feel like that some of us should just take our kids and just push them out. You know what I mean? Especially if they are men, they think that we should just, oh, they need to go and just be a man, be a man. But you know what, guys? What do you mean, be a man? In the world that it is today, just be a man, and I don't understand that. And I don't understand the part about people feeling like you should just throw them away or you shouldn't do certain things for your children. That kind of bothers me in a little way. And that's why I want to come on and talk about that and how you feel about if you do you want your children to go to work at a young age, or maybe you might feel like you don't want them to go because you didn't have the opportunity to do some things. I was just talking about that because I've talked with people who felt like, no, I don't want my child to get a job at a young age. I want them to focus on school. I want them to focus on having fun and enjoying. And for me, the reason why I implemented my boys going to work early was because no negativity, but I felt like their father wasn't a really strong worker. So I wanted to make sure that my boys knew that hard work was the best way to go and get a job, work, save your money, and do exactly, financially you need to do what you need to do. And but that's all I was just talking about today, guys. Just talking about how do you feel about what are your feelings about you raising your children, how you're raising them, what are you implementing and teaching them how to reach their goals, and what are you implementing in far as what are you pouring into them to make them better, and pouring into them to talk about credit, because a lot of us weren't taught about credit. I was never taught about credit, and I was never taught to save. Put your money in the bank. You should save. You should do some of these things, and that's what I am. I try to teach my children. You need to make sure that you have a bank account. You need to make sure you have checking, savings, and you can direct deposit your checks. We didn't have that back in the day. We had to get our check, go somewhere, put it in the bank. So they have the easy part there. And we need to also talk to them about generational wealth. We need to also talk to them about one day you're going to want to retire. And we already know, I don't think anyone will be on a job 30 plus years. I think those days are out for us. Those are gone. Those days are over. I don't believe we'll see that again, where they'll be working 30 years on a job. And they just don't have the stamina. To me, the young people, they don't have that mindset to be going to a job every day, especially when they can get a job where they can be at home and enjoying and relaxing. So that's what I was basically talking about, guys, and wanted to know if you guys have any input on things that you're implementing, things that you're doing with your children that to help them and to talk to them and to guide them about, wealth and how to invest and how to save money and how to have their 401ks, because I don't know how many jobs even offer 401ks. Some jobs don't even offer it, but a lot of them are offering it now. And how many of you guys think that people are really investing in their 401k? Because I don't know if a lot of people know about it. If they don't have a parent that's helping to guide them, they probably think they should just get all their money and just don't worry about putting anything up. So guys, that's what I was just talking about today. I'm going to stay on to about 2 o'clock, but I just wanted anyone who wanted to come in and, talk about it, and how you feel about you raising your children and the differences with the way we grew up and the way they grew up, the things that were implemented in us and we were taught by our parents, and things we weren't taught about with our parents. And those are some things I was just talking about today with me, because I got one that's getting ready to leave home. So I was just talking about that, guys. Just staying on for an hour. I just want to come on and see how everybody else felt, and if they are, sticking with the young people that are in the home, because things are so high right now out there. I don't know how anyone can afford an apartment, let alone buying a home right now, because of the rate of the interest and everything. right now. So yes, Luscious, thanks for saying it's a great topic. Yeah, it's a great topic. We need to talk about it more. We need to kind of educate our people on our young children, our young as they're coming up young. That's why I used to talk to my kids about credit. I'm like, no, you don't want to do this. I used to tell them you don't want to do this, and I taught them about lending money, and I talked to them about just because a person's family don't mean you have to give them. Just your friends, you don't have to give them. And then I have to talk to my son. I just had to talk with him. I'm checking the app because most of my children's my boys' money and things of that nature are in an account. I can see their account, so it's good in a way because sometimes they may be cash apping someone and sending them money, and you don't even know what's going on. And everybody who's talking to them isn't always for them. And that's another thing you got to teach. Another subject you got to teach them: who's for you, who's not for you, who's a friend, who's not a friend. But the best thing for me talking about today was just talking about how they need to know the importance of money, what money can do, and the status of money and having money, and making sure that if you just want to take a job, like my son, he goes to work. And for me right now, to me, he doesn't make enough. So I'm trying to tell him, you need to probably check on a second job. But right now in this world today, I don't think young people even want to work a second job because they feel like it's way too hard. They want to be on social media. They want to be able to do what they want to do, but then they don't understand that if they're living in your home, things cost. They're not cheap. They're very expensive. Groceries expensive right now. Food is definitely expensive. Toiletries are expensive. Anything you need to do your laundry and dishes, that's expensive. And also water bill, light bill, and mortgages. They are not cheap. So that's why we need to be trying to let them know, so that as they're getting older, they're knowing what to tap into. And then a lot of people don't like to talk to their children about things because they get upset. Mine get upset all the time when I'm talking to them about, money and things of that nature. They get upset with me, but I just keep talking and keep explaining. And I can kind of monitor their money and telling them, you don't have enough to do this and this and this, and that's what I think I get a lot of slack about because I monitor things with them and I'm like, do you know what you have? You have to, you have certain bills you have to pay and they're due a certain date and you have to, my son has them like, mine get upset. I know Luscious, my oldest son get upset because I'm like, you don't have money, you can't do that. And he's like, what you mean? I'm looking at your account, but I don't know if you're looking at it, but I'm looking at it going, why you mad with me? Your money, you need to probably consider getting another job because you want to drive a nice car that costs money and you want to have your insurance that my son is like on my insurance. So I was like, whoa, y'all might, no, I'm gonna have to get y'all mines. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what you're doing when you get in your car because they have fast cars. You know what I mean? But they got to understand you have certain bills you have to pay. And if you don't pay those bills, then you don't eat, you don't sleep, you don't drink. It's so easy when you're at home and you can go and pull something out the refrigerator that you didn't buy. And that's the newest thing for me right now. My son just left to get lunch for work. Fridays, I'm not cooking. I'm not cooking. And he was like, you mean you tell me you're not cooking? No, I'm not cooking. Buy cars, I tell them he needs to buy asset. That's what I'm saying. And I told my son, I said, okay, you buy your car, he had a car, he paid it off, and it has issues, and it would cost a lot to get fixed. So he got another car. But I'm like telling him, I have you on a 2-year plan to leave, not in a bad way, but I have you on a plan. So if it takes you getting another job to make the right amount of money you need, that's what you got to do. Because you're not going to be here forever, and don't get comfortable thinking that you're going to be here forever. I've had them on a plan when I first moved here. I was like, y'all on a so-and-so plan, get your cars paid for. Once you get those cars paid for, it's on you. You know what I mean? You got to figure out somewhere to stay and get the move. But I didn't throw them out. And so my youngest son, let's just say exactly, I didn't throw him out, but my youngest son ended up, he has a friend in, they've been dating about 2 years, I think. And he went to Colorado. He's going there. I am so blessed because he's going up there and it's a different environment. He got to man up. To me, I say this, he's going to be manning up to do his responsibilities as a man for a family. And I think this is a good thing for him because he tends to lean on me a lot. So instead of tending and leaning on me, now he's got to lean on her. And, I said, you got to be careful how you talk. You got to be nice. And if, you got to do the right thing. And that's what they don't understand. A car is nice. Me and my spouse talk about it all the time. Our car is nice, but having somewhere to pull that car up to is even better. And when you can pull that car up to a place and don't have to pull it up to an apartment building, that's a blessing. And that's why my oldest daughter, she's working on some things, because when she came here to Port St. Lucie, it wasn't expensive to live, right? So, but now in Port St. Lucie, it's very expensive. It's expensive now, but she got in at a time when she got her apartment at a good time. Like when we bought our home, we got it at a good time. But she's saving to try. She's getting herself together to try to buy a home. And I also had spoke with her concerning credit. And sometimes I think women have a tendency. You bought me so now. Women have a tendency to have most everything in their names. So, hello, Grace to Garden. Hello, she said, Grace to Garden saying hello, everyone, and thanks for coming in. So today I was just sitting here talking about children, raising our children, having adult children, explaining to them things about life, explaining to them about generational wealth, explaining to them about spending money and how they should be, you know, investing in stocks, and how they should be making sure they're putting money away in their 401k. And if you have to pick up a second job, if you don't have a college education or background, where you're not making enough, that hello, okay, making sure that they are able to survive. But for now it's kind of hard for all. Thanks Seth, for saying it's a great topic. Now it's kind of hard for the young people to move out, because the areas that we're living in now, things are so expensive. Like where I live in Riviera Beach now, the apartments are starting at like 2 grand a month. They don't make that type of money. They're not making the money to pay that big amount. But I have a lot of people that I know that are moving from there to here. But then now, by the time they get here, it's going to catch up. The price of the apartments is starting to catch up here. So after a while, you're gonna have some type of education, or be making work 2 jobs, or get a trade or something, so that you can catch up with everything that's going on, because this is very expensive. It's okay to share space with your grown children, share expenses. Yes, true. That's what I'm saying. But see, with my spouse, he takes care of everything here. But this is the thing, and I understand what you're saying with expenses, and that's what I was telling him. But mine is kind of like, I pay my bills, and I was trying to explain to them. I said, but I have to have them help with things too in the home. So instead of them trying to give it to him, I did this. I had my oldest son, start helping with the food, because the food is very expensive. But then you have to take accountability to buy your food. And yes, you're gonna have to have some space with your adult children. Unfortunately, with the way the world is today, you're gonna have to. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm just gonna kick my child out, because that won't happen. But you gotta prepare them to know that there's a real world out here. You gotta pay bills. You don't pay bills, you will not be able to. You won't be able to live out here. You gotta pay your bills. And Garden is saying, set boundaries and provide timelines. Yes, there has to be structure, because children will treat you like it was before. True. That's what I'm saying. Because they will treat you a certain way. And sometimes, like my youngest one, that's what I was having an issue. I was like, you cannot do this. This is my home. And you have to explain to them, this is my home. We are allowing you, and this is what I told my children, we are allowing you a space here. You need to make sure that you're taking care of that space. But sometimes they don't do that. They don't take care of the space. And then what people don't realize, my kids don't pay nothing. I know what you're saying, baby. I know. My oldest son gives something toward the food. Okay. But since he bought his car, he's not able to do as much now. But I told him, so you need to make sure that you go get another job, so that you will be able to pay your expenses. I cannot help you pay your bills. I will not do that. And it's hard, because they don't understand. They don't understand what you went through to live the life you're living. They don't understand that you trying to help them, and sometimes they can be hurting you. And that's the thing with mine, because as I tell everybody, my spouse is not. I don't have any kids for my spouse. So my spouse is very good to my kids, but that's not your biological parent. But he's taking care of you like He's your biological parent. He's one thing I will say, because my boys work, they never have not had a job until we moved here. They may have been out of a job maybe a week. So they know the importance of going to work. They know that for sure. So my oldest son is still on the same job he's had. My youngest son, hello, AZ Highland Homestead. Howdy, y'all. Thanks. But this is the thing. They don't know what we went through to get to where we are. And then when you bring a whole nother component of being in another relationship, you got to be mindful of your spouse and your kids. And that's what we have some issues with. I have some issues with that part with me. That part with me, I'm honest. I have some issues with that part concerning my boys, because I have to remind them, hey, look, bro, you need to make sure your room's clean. You need to make sure you go to the bathroom. The carpet is a soaking wet, in the bathroom, not carpet, but the rugs. And it's certain things that they do, and you can't do that, because you are able to walk into a house, eat food that you're not really providing, and you're blessed. You have a roof over your head. You're blessed. You have you don't pay for the water. You don't pay for the water. So please don't take long showers. You don't pay for the light bill. So please cut my lights off. And you're not paying the AC, you're not paying that. So you got to be mindful and respectful. And that's why I love the other young lady who was on. She said, you got to set boundaries. Grace to Garden said, you got to set boundaries, which you have to set those boundaries. And sometimes I think I got a little laxy daisy with setting the boundaries. And, it's like, don't eat in the room. Don't do this, certain things. And it's like, they feel like, oh, you treat me like a kid. Well, you are not a kid. You're an adult, but you're in my home. So you got to follow my rules. And so with that being said, you have to set boundaries and set structure, and you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. You understand what I'm saying? You got to really stay on them. And that's the thing I think they forget. They get so comfortable in the situation and feel like they don't have to do anything. And that's not true. That is definitely not true. And that's what I be trying to tell mine. I'm trying to raise men, boys to men, but the way society got them set up today is so different. It's so different. What they do is so different. And my heart is a little heavy today, because on Tuesday, my son will be flying out and going to Colorado. But I know in him changing, because in talking with my spouse, he explains a lot of things to me. And talking with my spouse, I know that he's saying he said two things are going to happen. Either he's going to man up, or he's going to have to come back home. And he said he'll change for the best, or he'll change for the worst. So that's the thing. And by me talking to him, explaining to him, and just like I said, they did know my son saw me be abused. So I put him in counseling for 5 years. And in the process of putting him in counseling for 5 years, I explained to them, don't never touch or put your hands on a woman, because you're going to prison. And that's what I truly believe. You should have to go to prison, because no one should have to be beat down with physical abuse. No one should have to have mental abuse, and no one should have to have verbal abuse. No one should be verbally abusing their spouses. I'm not going with none of that. That is not a vibe for me, and I won't be going through that. I don't went through all that. I'm not going backwards. I'm going forward. And you said parents are not obligated, and the grown children can sometimes act. Oh my God, I thought I was the only one. They feel like they're entitled. There's nothing wrong with requiring them to pay to help with living expenses. They will be paying. So true. That's what I tell mine all the time. But you know what, guys? When he get up the road, it's gonna be different. You're gonna have a whole rent to pay. You're gonna have water bill to pay. You have light bill to pay. You have food to pay. So, guys, I just know it's gonna be different for him. I wish they came, Luxus, I wish they came with a manual too, but girl, they ain't come with no manual, girl. I wish they came with, and then I think for me, because I talk to other women that have kids that are not the biological kids, but the kids for some reason feel entitled because they see the lifestyle you're setting up for yourself, and they think they should have what you have, not realizing that it didn't come to you like that. You worked for it. You worked on it. They don't know the behind the scenes stuff that you did to get to where you are. And that's what I talk to my kids about too. You have this whole man going to work every day while you go to work, but you don't see he's getting up early to go to work, to drive to work 45 minutes away from here, come back home, and then I have his food and everything ready because he takes a journey to go to work and go to work every day and come back home. And it's not like my spouse is a young man. He's 63, so he's older. I make sure. And then a lot of people in relationships, the younger people, which feel like, oh, drop that link in there. Okay, I don't know how to drop a link, Luscious. I'm so sorry. I need a moderator, and I don't have one. My sister was supposed to moderate today. But like I was saying, they don't understand, and they feel entitled, and that you owe them something. Because I feel like they like think that you owe them something, but you really don't owe them anything. It's just you trying to raise them and raise them to be better men, better people, and think better persons. But they don't know the background. You don't have to explain nothing to those children why you and your spouse do things. That's what I'm saying. And it's like you like, I don't really, because my kids knew the life we had when I was with their father, and it wasn't a great life. I was living in paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, and it was days when I didn't know where I was going to get food and stuff from. I didn't know how I was going to feed my children. And then I get into a relationship with someone else who takes on three children, one daughter special needs, and then begin to provide for them. That's why I tell my kids, I don't really owe you anything. I've done my part. I pretty much raised you by myself, and then he stepped in and finished raising you and began to tell you how to be a man and how you should do as a man. So what really tripped me out last night, my son, I had went to bed a little earlier. My son, I could hear him in there talking to him. And he was talking to my spouse about family and children and how did you do this and how did you do that? And I was telling him, I said, y'all don't even, he came in and he woke me up. He said, I hope he get it, because I was talking to them and I was explaining to him about what a man should do and how he should treat a woman and how he's supposed to be the breadwinner. He's supposed to take care of things. I don't know where he came up with this new 50-50-50 thing and all that. He was saying, he said, but back in the day, because he's older, he was saying back in the day, we just knew that we supposed to, get with the spouse, get with our wife, spouse, and make life, but we supposed to be the point and take care of them. And that's all he knew to do. And for me, people don't know, I had surgeries on my knee after we got together, and I have some issues with my knees, but and standing and stuff like that. So I used to be a receptionist at the school, and I ended up leaving after my dad passed. But Luscious is saying that's exactly what I said to my two older kids last week. If my husband can get up at 4 a.m., go to work while they sleep all day, no, I'm about to put them out. I understand what you're saying. I know. It's like it's crazy because mine would go to work and then actually see him. Sometimes they go to work and come home, and then he'd be coming home. Then he gets up. I have to agree with you. Mine is up about 4. He leaves about 4:30 in the morning too. Let's just, he has a 45-minute drive through traffic every day to get to his job. Then he comes up another 45 minutes home. So I feel like, to me, how dare someone say to me, "Oh, you catering to him. You're catering to him. You're catering to him." It's like, really? I'm catering to him. You paying the bills, you doing this, you doing, and I'm catering to him. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all like this, guys. I'm old school. When mine's come home, like on a Friday, we'd have like a pizza day. So the day we might have some pizza, so I might order pizza or something like that. But most of the week, I do most of my cooking. I have a garden. I grow things out in the garden, and it's so sad because you feel like, I understand where you're coming from, because you feel like they're taking advantage of you. You feel like that. You feel like you're taking advantage of me. He can get up and work, and then you can't just go. But the only issue with mine is they go to work, but I have to remind them, you have a credit card bill you got to pay. You have this you have to take care. You have car insurance. And it's hard because we tend to, as women, hello, Lady Posh TV. Yeah, we feel as women. Oh, and thanks, Luscious, for saying thumbs up. But we feel like sometimes, I think we feel like it's hard for us because we see our spouse doing and doing, and then we like, why? Why can't you just go and do what you need to do and come back? You need to do better by what you're doing. But mine's go to work, and it's like when they come home, they're in their room, they're on the social media and things of that nature. But the only problem I was having was I like my room a certain way to clean. You have to keep it clean. You have to have structure. You have to tell them. You have to explain it. You know what I mean? That this generation don't understand. They don't get stuff like we do. We did. They just think, everything is handed to them. Oh, you here. It's for you. You can have this. It's for you. And it wasn't handed to us on a platter. We had to work to get to what we have. I worked even when I was getting ready to get a total knee replacement. I was still working, 2 jobs. And it's Luscious Journey saying, I wanted to explain what I'm going through right now with my children on Grace Garden. Grace Garden. Okay, I thought you asked for some type of link, Luscious, because the topic is what I'm going through right now. Yeah, when I put my hand on my head, it is so, it's just so hard. It is so hard. StreamYard link at Grace Gardens. Okay. I'm not on StreamYard, so I got to learn how to do that, guys. So anybody that can help me, please reach out. I'll be glad to have you help me. But like I was saying, Luscious, this is so crazy because it's so hard. You know what I mean? Because you're trying so hard and you putting all your energy into trying to help them be better, but sometimes they don't really understand. It says, oh, okay, so we can share the live. Okay, Luscious. Oh, okay. Guys, I don't know how to. If you guys know how, you can tell me and help me. I'll do whatever I need to do. But yeah, it's very hard for me too. And some days, you just like, gosh, and for me, I'm getting older. I know you guys tired me saying that. I'll be 60. And it's, I'm trying kind of want the next thing going on, where I just have Karen here. And then it's so hard too because I'm a caregiver, you know what I mean, for a child. And it's like sometimes you figure, when am I gonna get a break? When am I gonna get some time for me? You gotta make time, which I do. I make time for me. But it's like I don't think they understand. I think kids feel that the young people feel entitled that we owe them something that, and I don't get it. I don't get it either. And you're trying to train them and tell them, and people get upset when you say train, but I'm not mean train. I mean, you're trying to talk to them, you're trying to tell them, and sometimes they just bullheaded. They don't listen to you. They don't think you know. They figure you're like, you need to get out of here. They don't figure that what to do. I think sometimes they forget that you were also young, but in our generation, we knew to do. We had to figure it out. By the time you were a certain age, which I left home at about 21, I had my daughter at 21. I left home at about 21ish. I left home because I ended up getting an apartment, and we didn't have no one to like hold our hand and tell us what to do. We had to really just go at it, figure it out. We had to get out there in the world and figure it out. But see, no one's out here nowadays trying to throw their kids out, but they just wish their kids to give them the right respect that they need, because we're not getting the respect. We're not getting the respect we need. Sometimes they treat us as though we don't know what life is all about. Eye opener, we know a lot about what life is about because we went through it. And then we may have went through it in different, if you have kids from different men, you know exactly what you're going through. And then you're trying to impute and talk to them and explain to them exactly what's going on. You got to get your own place. You got to do, you got to work. You can't play the video game. You can't do, because I hear a lot of my friends be like, well, he don't have a job. He on the video game all day. That's a job right there. And it's so, they don't have excuses because there's so many home things they can do. They can work from home. My son, he works at like a pet store or whatever, and he was making really good money there, but the boss came in and cut his hours. And just like my husband was saying, well, that's part of your fault because you knew what was happening. You should have did something to, alleviate you having to go through that. You should have got a better job. Even though that was, you've been on that job all those years, they changed up management. So when they changed up management, you should have changed up the game too. But thank God, everything kind of worked out in his favor where he's leaving. Him and his girlfriend had been preparing to come together and get a place, and she's already got the place. So he's kind of set up, but he's got to go up there, get a job, and get off of mom and figure life out for himself. And it's so very hard. It's really, really rough raising these, and raising a man is a hard job, because when they say it's hard to raise a man, Tupac said, yeah, it's hard to raise a man. Raising a man is very hard. And then sometimes, we kind of get upset with our spouses because, they'll say some things about it, because my spouse always talks to me and tells me exactly, he'd be like, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. And, sometimes we get upset. Yeah, we get upset. We get mad. We get mad, we get upset. But guess what? In the end part with me, I stopped saying different things like that. I just started listening to my spouse and listening to what he was saying, because a lot of what he was saying was the truth. And him being a man having to get out on his own, he knew what he went through. And he was like, the young people don't do that no more. They just want to lean and depend on someone else. And that's the bad part about it. And then, like I was saying, you're trying to tell them how to save money, how to do, you're trying to guide them. And sometimes they got a pig head, they don't want to listen to us. And that's just the crazy part about it. And it's just wild. But guys, I'm going to try to go on to the other stream thing, so that I can learn how to let other people come into the link. And I understand what anyone is going through right now. I'm going through it. It's bittersweet to seeing my son leave, but the sweet part about it is he's all kind of set up. He's just got to go get a job. And then once he get a job, he can get another car. And that way he can move around like he needs to move around, figure out life, and don't have to depend on me. And that's what's the most important part about it is for me, getting him to where he needs to be. Will Rich, Unstoppable Entertainment. Hello, how are you today? I was just on and I was talking. I'm going to go on probably another 30 minutes. I was on talking about raising children, trying to get our children where they need to be, and trying to get the kind of get them out the nest, and let them grow up and be and do what they need to do. Because I'm an old school. I always tell people I'm old school. You know what I mean? And I'm with the person that I'm with my spouse, and he's definitely old school. The way we are bringing up the children are a little different nowadays, and it looks a lot different. But like I was saying, we got to impute things in them to teach them that they need to learn to do some things on their own. And it's not easy. It's going to be rough, because for me, I have two. I have three at home. One of my children is special needs, my daughter, but my two sons, I have one son that's getting ready to leave. And that's a great thing for me. He's kind of set up there. He just has to go and get a job, and he'll be set. These are plans he made with the young lady that he was, been with for about a year and a half, about a year or two. I think it's about two. He went to Colorado and visited. He loved it up there. So that's what they are getting ready to do. He's getting ready to move on next week. So, that's going to be bittersweet, but it's okay, because I think he's 21. This is a great time for him to go out and decide and know how to be a man. And my oldest son is still here, and I'm trying to, like, Luscious and I and a few of us were talking back and forth about raising them and getting them ready. And yes, it is indeed not so easy. But I'm glad we have Willie Rich. I'm glad we have a male in the chat, so you can tell us some things, because Wellness with Frugal Mom. Hello, and thanks for coming in. Hello, Georgia girl. Hello, Georgia girl. I am every woman dream team. Dream team. Hi, host, and she's saying hi, host, and everyone. Chat passing through. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone that's here. And yes, having a male view in the chat is good, because we as women, we kind of do things a little differently when it comes to our children. We kind of like be still holding their hands, whereas the fathers will let the hand go and tell you, oh no, let them go. They got to figure it out. They got to figure it out. We still trying to, I guess, hold their hand and see what's going, hold their hand and kind of guide them. But it's just about trying to get everyone to where they need to be. And with the way that the economy is set up today, it's kind of hard for the young people to leave home. And I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Grace the Garden or another young lady. She came in and she was saying, you got to have boundaries and structure when you're having adults in your home. You got to set boundaries and structures, and they need to be able to help you with the expenses. And that's so true, like we were talking about. That's very important. So guys, I'm so glad that everybody came out. And if you guys don't have each other, please go ahead and link and check out each other's channel. I think mostly everybody kind of has everyone, but I'm getting used to coming on live, and I didn't do the StreamYard, which I'm going to be downloading the StreamYard because I was told about that, but I had already had this set up. So probably next week when I do it, I'll be on StreamYard. And so, guys, I thank you for coming out. I appreciate everyone for coming and talking. And Willie Rich, Unstoppable Entertainment, if you want to come in and tell us a little difference with a male view as to raising men or raising our children, that would be a great help for us because we know that they don't have what we grew up with instilled in us. They don't have they just don't have the wherewithal that we had, and we grew up in a different time. And and the fact that as you're trying to help your kids, people may feel like that you don't you're not giving them enough life experiences. And then when you try to help your kids, sometimes they bite. They don't want to listen to what you're trying to tell them and help them, and know that what you're going through, you're trying to help them to keep from going through a lot of the stuff that you went through and trying to make it better. But I remember my dad, when we were younger, he would always say, I want y'all to have a better life than I had. But we worked harder, but now young people can work smarter. Some of them don't even have to go out to a job. There's so many jobs that are at home now where they can do that. And then I was saying raising children, and some of the benefits if they go to college. And I have to go now. Thanks for Lynn's Life Lesson. Have a great week. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming. But like we were saying, raising the children, getting them to where they need to be acclimated, and knowing that they are adults and they got to make some decisions and have some of the responsibilities on them. And I was wondering how people feel about the children when they're younger having a job, and if you wanted them to have a job or not have a job, because some people don't. When I talk to the younger people, they don't want their children to work because they want them to focus on their schooling and going to school. And then once they go to school or college, or go to college, that they want them, they go work after that. And that's what a lot of people want. But I don't know, because I talked to my children while they were in high school and asked who wanted to go to college, and neither one of my boys wanted to go to college. So I told them maybe you need to take up a trade or something so you can make a certain amount of money so that you'll be able to sustain yourself. So yeah, that's part of it. But Luscious, next time I'm gonna have you come up with me. So, because I'm gonna be talking about this for a while and talking about, the generational wealth for them, and talk about how we need to make sure they're getting in their 401ks, because that's important. Because I never knew that you could borrow against the 401k to get a home until you mentioned that on your page. So I would definitely like to collab so we can start putting videos out that can talk to our children and let them know that they can set themselves up to have property, and where they don't have to work as hard, they can definitely work smart. Make sure everybody hits. Oh, thank you so much, Grace to Garden, for telling everyone to hit the like button. But just like I was saying, so that we can get our children where they need to be and tell them, because they don't know about, it's different ways you can invest, it's different ways you can save. You don't just have to have a savings account, because saving accounts and checking accounts don't pay anything, and that they can invest in stocks that will help them to be able to sustain themselves as they get older in life, and that they can be able to do that. Blessing to everyone in the chat, because we're one. Yes, we are one, and we're trying to do things to continue to help each other, and tell our children things that are positive so that they can live a better life than what we have been living, and live smarter and not work as hard, and not just think about, I got to have the baddest car, the baddest this, but I have nowhere to drive that car up to park it. And yeah, thanks for saying a great topic, because I think our kids are kind of getting mixed up in everything, but we need to make sure that they know that they need to be setting forth generational wealth, because a lot of parents aren't having anything for their children when they pass or anything to leave those children. So I think generational wealth is very important. I think like knowing what you can do, like let's just say borrowing against your 401, having that 401 in place, because you figure if you buy a house at 21, 25, you can pay that house off earlier, and you can pay an extra payment a year and take a 30-year home that you have financed for 30 years and pay it off in 15. So a lot of young people don't know that. And that's some of the things that my spouse had spoke to my sister about when she bought a house. She said, every year, he said, promise me one thing, every year, please set aside an extra payment at the end of the year so that you have one extra payment every year. So you got a house set up to pay it off in 30 years, but you can pay that house off in 15 years. We need to talk to our children about generational wealth, having wealth, knowing what to do with the wealth, and not just flashing the wealth, and that they can make money. And a lot of them don't even think, because my kids, both my boys have YouTube, and so far they're like, Mom, YouTube isn't that easy. I know YouTube wasn't going to be easy, but I still tried it. I'm going to be 60, but I'm still going. I don't know everything about it. I'm still learning, but I have people that come on and keep teaching me, like Healthy G Mom, Luscious. I have, I have people looking out and, telling me different things that I can do. So guys, whatever you tell me, I most definitely take notes and try to take it down so that I can learn more to be able to help everyone. But I'm just talking about me as a perspective, not talking about anyone in their case. I'm just sharing what I go through, and that in our community, we're going through things because our kids are getting mixed up with a lot of the things that they're thinking about. They're so caught up on. To me, everything has to be instant. It's like instant. I gotta have it. Everything has to be now. I gotta have it now. I gotta have it now. And that's not the way the world is really set up. You know what I mean? You have to kind of set yourself up to be where you are. A lot of us have worked years to get to where we are. Nothing was given to us. We had to make some right decisions in order to get to where we are. So, guys, I'm gonna go off at about 1:30ish. But what I was just talking about, and I'm going to bring this topic up again. And once I bring it up, I want to be able to bring other people in so they can also talk about it too. Because I don't think I'm the only one that's going through this with adult kids being in the home. And just like they say, you got to have some structure. You got to have some rules and regulations, and you got to make sure that they are respecting your spouse if they're in the home with you, and even if they're not in the home with you and they have their own place. And so that's what I'm getting ready to, get some things together. My son will be leaving next week, and I'm a little bittersweet, but I'm more sweet than bitter. And I know that this young lady is amazing that he's going to be with, and he's got to now figure out life for himself, and that's very important for me, for him to go ahead and figure life out. I had to figure it out. He's no different than me, but I, was saying how people felt about their children going to work early and going to college and taking up a trade and things of that nature. It's a lot we need to talk about and tell our kids. And everybody seems to think that they have to go to college, but they can go and become a plumber, take up a trade, truck driver, CDL driver's license. It's a lot of things they can do. They don't just have to go on a job and just sit there. And nowadays they're not going to stay on a job 20 plus years. That's not going to happen. And if they do, it'll be a small miracle. But if they have a job, I try to encourage minds to try to go up the ladder. Wherever you go, learn everything you can, because the more you learn, the better it is. And the more likely you are going to be able to take another position. I have been on so many jobs where I have started at the bottom as nothing and ended up at the top. So I try to encourage them that way, to learn everything you can, learn and watch and just be observant of what's going on. But most of all, as a man, you need to hold down a job. And unless you're going to college and doing something of that nature, hold down that job, take care of yourself, and make sure if you're getting into relationships that you're going to be able to take care of that person that you're with. But guys, it's very important. And, this means a lot to me. And I was going to ask some people, what age did you start working? Because I started working at the age of 14, and not knowing if that was good or bad, but that's the way it was in my time. We started at a young age. And then I made sure that both my boys started working at a young age, because I felt like it would be useful for them, because I felt like their father wasn't as hard a worker as he could be. And so that's why. Wellness with Frugal Mama says 16. Yeah. You're probably way younger than me, but I started youngest son started at 16, and my oldest son started at 14, because my daughter worked at Publix. And when she worked at Publix, she was able to get them in at Publix. It took a little while for the youngest one, but they all worked at Publix. They started off at Publix. So when my daughter did leave Publix, she was able to retire, and she's got finances that she's living off. And she also had the stocks. My daughter was very smart with that. She knew, yes, ma'am, I'm 45. Yeah, I knew you were young. So yeah. So she started with the stocks. So yeah. She did the stocks at Publix and she saved money that way. So she has like a down payment. It's just some other issues. And another thing I'm going to be talking about women, because in relationships, a lot of time women take on our credit isn't as good as it should be because we take on the bills when we get into relationships. Or most of the time we are already taking care of our kids and we get into a relationship with someone and we already have everything established. So that's another thing I'm going to be talking about probably next week. How women take on a lot and their credit is usually damaged because mostly everything usually goes in their names. So that's another thing I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Guys, I'm going to do about 11 minutes. I'm going to get off at around 2:30ish. And so, because I don't have that many people on, and it's okay. And just like Luscious, we'll get back together. And once I get to StreamYard, I'll know how to bring you on so we can have this discussion again. Because I really want you to come on and talk about the piece for as what you did with your 401k and the investment part of being able to own property, rental out that rentals. May not be saying it right, but that income that can come in from having rental property, and which is a great thing because you're allowed to live a very good, life. You know what I mean? And I think that is very important. I like how you didn't force college. No, I didn't force college on them. Oh, my brother was like, "You need to make them go," and I was like, "You know what? They got to make their own decision. What if I put them in college? Then what? And they flunk out. Then what?" And then my oldest did go to college. He took a few classes, but he was like, "Mom, I don't really, this ain't for me." So he's got to figure, they had to figure life out. So he does. My oldest son, you probably seen him if he has a uniform on. He's a security guard. He does very well with the security guard, but he's in the process of trying to change to another job. He's been on that job 3 years. And before that, he was at Publix 5 years. So yeah, they have the stability on a job. So with that being said, the reason why I always tell them to stay on a job for the stability part, because when time for them to purchase a home, they can say they've been on a job and they haven't just went from job to job, because I kind of went through some of that with their dad, different jobs to job. Steve Gilmore, YouTube channel's on. Thank you for the thumbs up. I really appreciate everyone that came out, and I appreciate all my subscribers for coming out, guys. I thank you guys so much. I'm still learning this journey. I'm on a journey learning as much as possible as I can. I don't have the StreamYard up, but I'm going to go ahead and download that probably after I finish, and I'm going to go on YouTube and figure out some things I need to do. Hi, oh, okay, someone said hi, Steve. Okay, but I just wanted, next time I hope I can pull people up, some of the guys up, so they can give a different take on what we should be doing, if we are raising men, and some help on how to raise them and maybe talk to them. My spouse is here. He talks to my boys, but sometimes I feel like they don't listen as much as they could. They don't want to learn. And another thing I want to talk about too is they need to learn how to use tools and things of that nature, because my spouse can build and do stuff, whereas the younger generation, he's like, they don't have to pay for everything. They're gonna have to pay somebody to do everything. They're gonna have to pay for somebody to put a TV on the wall. They're gonna have to pay for somebody to put little stuff they need to learn. So that's another topic I'm going to be talking about probably next week, and I'll have the StreamYard up where I can also bring other people up to help me talk about the importance of having finances and things of that nature, an income coming in besides working on a job hard. And we're in a time where they don't have to work hard, they can work smart. And that's what's important to me. And guys, that's what I really want to talk about. I want to drive home, talking to our kids, explaining stuff to them, getting in their head what they need to know. And you have a lot of the Black women, young women nowadays, not just all Black, but a lot of them, they're starting their own businesses. These women out here, they doing the thing. And they get their own businesses up. They're running their own businesses. They're doing hair. They're doing nails. They're doing the cooking. They're doing the cleaning. They're doing the decorating. And I've seen a couple of these women on YouTube. These young girls, they build them. They're making furniture. They're DIYing. They're learning a lot. Whereas the guys, they need to get it together, because after a while, we're going to be like, well, we need somebody that's going to be a helpmate, not a hurtmate. Yes. And he say, no, you must not download StreamYard. It says, oh, don't download StreamYard. Oh, okay. So I just got to learn how to share the link then, right? Will Rich Unstoppable Entertainment. So don't download StreamYard. Okay. So there's other ways I stream this way, whereas I just come on and talk, but I need to learn how to drop links. So you got to go to the Google browser. Okay. So let me write that down. Let me get closer. Thanks for teaching me. Anything I can learn, I want to learn. Go to Google browser. And then I can learn how to click on and let other people come on. So StreamYard, because when it comes up, I see everybody doing like StreamYard. So I didn't know. I wasn't aware. I thought you had to do StreamYard. I mean, people were telling me I should be doing the StreamYard. So I guess I'll figure that out this week. So when I go on again. So is it okay that I come on like I'm on now? I just need to know how to. I have a moderator, but she wasn't able to be my moderator today. So what I think I'm going to do is kind of pick out different people to help me with being a moderator, because I have two in there now, but neither were able to come on today. So if you can really Rich Unstoppable Entertainment, if I give you my email, can you maybe send me some info where I may be able to go? It's getting dark where I am. It's getting ready to rain, so I put dark curtains up so everybody could be able to see me. But if you can, I'm going to give you my email. Can you email me and maybe give me some information where I can go to find out some more information on how to link up with everyone so I can be linking up with them? And I'm going to tell you, this is my. Okay, I take a while before I learn. Me, yeah, it took a while. Okay, I take a while before I learn. I know it's going to take me a little while, but it's okay because I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep trying. So my email address is, I'm going to give it to you right now. It's Karen, Karen. Oh, sorry, Karen's Krens, loving Loving care, care Inc. at yahoo.com. I'm going to write it. I'll type it in so that maybe I can get some information to help me. Anybody that knows some information that can help me, please send me an email and I'll gladly get back to you. I'm going to put it in because saying it like that might be kind of hard. And it's named after my daughter. I had it, Karen's Loving Care Inc. And it's at yahoo.com. So yeah, that's it right there. That's my it says, are you on long? Are you on IG? Yes, I'm on IG. I think it's under Lens Life. I'm on Instagram though. I think it's Lens Life _lessons. So I'm on Instagram too. If you put it in, it should pop it up. I'm on Instagram. So if you want to reach me through Instagram, that's fine too. So guys, I got about 4 more minutes and then I'm going to go off. And I want to make sure everyone has a wonderful, make sure you guys have a wonderful weekend. I won't be back on. I'll be looking at, everyone's page probably on the weekend. I'll be checking out some things on the internet. If anyone's going live, please let us know so that I can come out and support you guys, because I try to come out and support everyone that I can. I'm still in the learning phase. And I'm going to keep going. I'm never giving up, because this is going to be a way that I can help more people talk about some things and help people with what they're going through in their life, because we all tend to go through some things. And I have, like I said, I have a special needs daughter and I'm a caregiver for that. I have a lot of things going on in my home and I'm trying to get it where it'll be a little bit more quiet. It's quieter. Like now I'm here by myself so I can just chill out, enjoy the rest of my day. But I come on because what I'm trying to do is get in the habit of coming on and talking and getting my watch hours up, because I really need to get my watch hours up. So I'm going to start coming on more through the week. I probably do maybe 2 hours through the week. I just got to figure out my niche on when to come in. But I just want to say thank you for everyone coming in. It says type your IG name, please. Okay. I think it's Lens. And I'm going to type that in for him. And I underscore. I can't remember because I saw my son put it in, but I know it's Lens Life. Less underscore. Life lessons. If you put it in as Lens Life Lessons, it'll pop up. So please make sure you let me know Did I type it in? Okay, Lens Life Lesson. Yes, under Lens Life Lesson. I think it's an underscore. I'm not sure. But yeah, and please reach out to me so I can get all the help I can so that I can keep doing what I'm doing, guys. I appreciate everyone for coming on. And I just hope everyone has a blessed weekend. And just keep, we keep each other up in prayer and keep just praying for each other that we, get to where we need to be, and just keep trying to enjoy life and get our children to where they need to be. And I will be reaching out once I get some things together, because are you on StreamYard? If so, let me know, because you know or you just go through the browser. I don't know how, because sometimes when I'm looking at people's when they come on, I see StreamYard. So I don't know. I thought I had to download the StreamYard. Or is there another streaming way? Because all I knew was my computer just told me I could come on and just go live. So I'm not sure. So it says, yes, hon. Okay, so you're on StreamYard. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna figure it out, and I hope we can collab together and have the same discussion again. All right. So I just want to say I appreciate everyone. You guys make sure you're having a great weekend. Make sure you're taking out some time for yourself, and make sure you keep each other up in prayer. And I appreciate everyone for coming, guys. Thanks so much. You guys make sure you have a blessed day, the rest of the day, and a blessed weekend. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Blessed day, blessed day. Happy Friday. Take care, guys. Bye bye. I'll see you in the next one.